everyone, and welcome back to our second episode of Chatting with Air Bubbles. I realized last week I did not introduce myself, so you're probably like, who is this person talking to me? So, my name is Ariel, also known as Air Bubbles Cosplay. I am a cosplayer and streamer. I love Destiny and Magic the Gathering and Guild Wars and recently Among Us. I'm very addicted in cosplay. I don't remember if I said that. But but yeah, we're here to talk to another friend and guest on the show. And Halloween made me think of like shiny things. And so that also made me think of rhinestones. And my friend Hope Kitten here is an expert in rhinestones. So that is the topic we're going to talk about. But first things first, I would love her to introduce herself. So tell us about yourself, how long you've been cosplaying, what you love about it, and then maybe throw in your favorite cosplay in there. It's a hard question.
Hi, I'm Hope. HopeKitten19 or h.h.cosplay on Instagram. I've been cosplaying for 5 years now, I think, although I will admit those first 2 years were a little rough. Actually, no, very rough. They were extremely rough. I've been sewing seriously for cosplay for about 3 or 4 of those years. I really just love creating things, and I like to do a lot of original designs, which means I take your superhero characters and I turn it into a ball gown because I can and I want to. And that kind of leads me into a lot of sparkly things. I think it's kind of fun, although I would have to say my favorite that I've created involves a staggeringly low amount of rhinestones. My current favorite cosplay that's complete at the moment is my Reverse Falls AU Mabel Pines from Gravity Falls. There's just a lot of thought and detail that I put into the costume that I'll hopefully get to making a video about in the future at some point. But there's a lot there that a lot of people wouldn't recognize unless they really knew what to look for. And a lot of that detail comes in the form of sparkles, hilariously enough. So
I do like how you mentioned the first 2 years were rough, and they're always rough. No matter how experienced someone is, the first 2 years is just rough. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It's really fun. So I kind of wanted to, back to thinking about Halloween. I think about the big craft sections, and they have those like giant bags of like jewels. I've bought them before. I did Codex from the guild, and her like corset is just covered in those gems. So that's what I thought of. I feel like people are rushing the craft store. They want to add some extra bling to their Halloween costume because let's face it, we're still going to have a party digitally no matter what. Halloween's on a Saturday. Let's get sparkly. So I kind of like in my mind thinking of a jewel/gem versus a rhinestone. To me, those are different. Like, they've always been different in my mind. They're in different sections of the craft store. Like, are they actually different? Is one, like, better than the other? Like, what should I pick if I want to add some extra bling to my costume?
I think they're both technically the same thing. The real difference comes in size, shape, and quality. Generally, those big bags of chunky stones that you get at the craft store aren't going to be the highest quality. You might find quite a few that are smudged or have dings or scrapes or scratches, and they're a lot more noticeable because they're larger faceted gems. I tend to work with smaller, round, flatback rhinestones, and a lot of the smaller gems, even if they're not super high quality stones, they're gonna just look a little bit better because they're smaller and they're more detailed. They're also gonna have a little bit more of a sparkle because most of those gems are going to be resin or glass versus the ones you buy in the big bags at the craft store, which are going to be most likely plastic. And there are ways to keep your costs down with the smaller gems as well. I've managed to get 5,000 for under $10. So
that's a lot. Just gonna put it out there. That's a lot of gems. Okay. So are there any like large ones that aren't plastic? I've never really seen any, but I haven't really looked that hard, to be fair. If I think I want a large one, then I'm like, I guess I have to cast it. Is that really the better option if you want like a shinier, like nicer one that's larger, or are you kind of just like out of luck?
if you want a larger stone on your costume, I would recommend looking for sew-on stones, because generally sew-on stones are either going to be like crystal, like you can get sew-on beads, um, and those are used for earrings sometimes as well, and they're going to be crystal or glass, so just a harder material. It's going to be a little bit higher quality, look a little bit nicer. The one problem with that is generally those are harder to find with like a flat back reflective surface, like your smaller rounds. So they're gonna be a little more set, or they're gonna be more of kind of like a crystal that you could put on a chain. So
Okay.
they're a little bit harder to track down, but they're definitely out there.
Okay. Okay. That's good. Because, sometimes I like to have giant bling on my costumes. But, okay. So now that we know a little bit of the difference, let's kind of go into like the basics. I know I've been talking to you a lot recently. My soon, hopefully, eventually finished Tamatoa costume is behind me, and I plan to add. I don't know why I decided this. It's gonna have rhinestones on it. I used to be an avid against person on rhinestones because it looked incredibly boring, but that's because I dislike hand sewing. And then I placed my first 3, and I feel like I saw the rainbow. My life's forever changed. So, like,
It was an experience to watch.
it was amazing. So for all the naysayers out there, you just got to try it. So let's go into some basics. Like the things that I asked you about, like, what do you need? Like, what's a tool, like the basic tools you think a beginner should grab if they want to get into rhinestoning? And just to remind people, because we just did the difference between those big jewels and the rhinestones. Rhinestones are a little bit smaller. I've got a little jar of them here. So this is one size. I think this is we totally talked about this. This is a 5 millimeter, 15. I can't read that. 50.
Yeah.
There's a 5 in there. So let's talk about the sizes in there. Okay. So I know there's different sizes in the tools. So let's go into that a little bit.
Okay. Absolute basics for rhinestoning. You're gonna need 3 things. There are a couple more tools that would be, helpful organizational systems and such. But basically for rhinestones, all you need are 3 things. You need your rhinestones, an adhesive, something to pick up your gems with, whether that be tweezers or a rhinestone picker. Rhinestones you can find in a lot of different places. Craft stores carry some of them. Usually if you're going to Joann's or Michael's, the ones you're going to find are Swarovski, which get kind of expensive. Or you can go online. A lot of online retailers will have them. If you're doing smaller ones, you're going to want to look for also nail rhinestones. They're the same thing that we use on costumes. There's literally no difference. It's just who they're marketed towards, whether it's a nail tech or a costumer. Rhinestone pickers are also available online. I found mine on Amazon.
Me too.
They're really not that hard to find. Just look up nail rhinestone picker or rhinestone picker tool on Amazon or online. Should be able to find one. They usually have a wax tip. I'm not entirely sure how, but they basically, you just like tap it on your rhinestone and you can pick it up and place it wherever your glue is. And then for adhesive, you're just going to want something that works well with whatever you're trying to stick your rhinestones on, and that can vary a little bit. I have 2 that I prefer, Gemtac and E6000. One is easier to use than the other. One is also less toxic to use than the other. So if you are using E6000, I recommend getting syringes though. Just for ease of putting it down. It's really hard to squeeze out small amounts with the tube of E6000, so you need a little bit of help there. But like Gemtac is essentially a tacky glue, and it's got the nozzle like a tacky glue, so it's a lot easier to place.
Yeah. I also really love this fabric glue. If you're gluing it onto fabric, it's a hot glue from Surebonder, and I really, really like it. And that's what I've been using for the 3 that I've placed. There is the downside of you probably need I think they have like a thin nozzle. Don't have that on my glue gun, so I definitely would suggest the thinner nozzle if you were going to use that. But Thank you for adding the safety tip on the E6000 because safety is very important. So if you can, I would definitely choose a option that is going to be not harmful to your health. But if you absolutely must use E6000, try and do it outside or in a well-ventilated area. Please and thank you. And don't put it near your pets.
Oh God, no, I have cats. Don't do it. They will try, believe me, but don't let it happen.
Yeah, don't do it. So that sounds so simple. I just need 3 tools. Like, oh my gosh. But like, so I only need to put like, what, 10 down on a costume and then I'm sparkly?
Well, I mean, technically you're not wrong, but I would recommend putting down more than 10. It really kind of depends on what you're going for. Costumes can vary between having 100 rhinestones to the one I'm working on right now, where I have 65,000 rhinestones. Currently, 40,000 of them are placed, and I've got another 25,000 that will be arriving on Thursday, as of recording this. And those are for my Elsa dress. But if you look at things like the Rocket Man movie, Elton John's the baseball costume has 150,000 Swarovski crystals on it.
Oh my god. That is a really fun factoid I did not know. Holy cow.
Yeah, I was curious as to how close I was getting, so I Googled it.
I mean, you could keep going. I mean, there's nothing stopping you. You could reach that goal. So is the Elsa dress going to be the one that has the most rhinestones you've ever put on something?
I mean, so far, yeah, but I actually put out on my Instagram yesterday, just out of curiosity. I was like, hey guys, what costumes can you think of that would require me to purchase and place 100,000 stones? Because I want to get to the Elton John level, like the peak Elton John level. But I'm already past one of his costumes, actually. The orange bedazzled thing with the wings has 60,000 rhinestones on it, so I've already passed that point.
And I gotta know, because the picture's sliding through right now, how many rhinestones are on your Iron Man dress? The evening gown.
Iron Man, if I remember correctly, has... Ooh, how many did I put on the thing? I think I ordered... I know I ordered like 11,000. I think there are probably 7,000 on there. Took me about 24 hours to place all of them. So.
Oh my gosh. That is a lot. But I can vouch as someone who thought I would hate it. I actually did enjoy the minute I did of placing them. And I think I really could have done it for a lot longer. So don't let that time scare you, friends. Like, you get into a zone, you can watch a movie. It's just kind of fun. Very chillaxing, as I would like to say. We're kind of winding down to the end of our time, and I want to make sure that folks get to reiterate where to find you if they have any questions, because it's Halloween. Throw some bling on your costumes, friends. Like, do it. It'll be so much fun. And absolutely, to reiterate, you do not have to buy, I cannot say this word, Swarovski crystals. There are places to buy.
Swarovski. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll just never say that word. I can't pronounce it. And there are places to buy crystals. Like Amazon has a bunch. I think you sent me some links to some. So if you want to know places to get them, you can feel free to reach out to Hope. Or if for some reason you can't find her, you can reach out to myself, Air Bubbles Cosplay, and I will definitely get you in touch. So where can we find you, Hope? Where's the best place to find you at?
All right, the best place to reach me is at h.h.cosplay on Instagram. It is a joint account, but I am the one in charge of all of the social media stuff, so if someone answers you, it's going to be me, because my cosplay partner is really bad at social media.
Well, that's awesome. So thank you so much for joining me, especially on this topic that is now a newfound love of mine. So I hope that we've inspired you all to add some bling to your costumes in the future and to not be afraid of it, like I was for so many years. It is a lot of fun, though. Put it on everything, everyone. Just do it. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.